going on, everybody? Culturedog Sam Hatch finally back here with another YouTube video. Many apologies for being away for a few weeks there. I was in Texas for at least 2 of those weeks, and I was very smart, very proactive, loaded up my computer with all the videos that needed editing, all the thumbnail images I needed, everything I needed to kind of stream out a succession of videos while I was on vacation. And I had one afternoon where I did a little bit of work on one, and other than that, nothing. So many apologies. I do have a big backlog of videos that are already done in the can, in the editing bay, ready to go. So I got Blu-ray videos of stuff going as far back as Star Wars The Force Awakens, Species 2, Species 3 and 4, Death Becomes Her, what else is in there? Jodorowsky's Dune, and all sorts of stuff. I've got a Species LD spotlight video as well, and a few other random things throughout that process. And I just got a bunch of other new discs in recently too. So I owe reviews of The Crush and Slasher Season 1 and the Return of the Living Dead Anniversary Edition. And that is an amazing disc. I'm having a blast tearing through that right now. So I'll have a proper review of that up soon. And a couple quick shout outs. Cheers to Christian Hanna Horror for just hitting 2,000 subscribers recently. So you deserve it, brother. Good job. And also, I name drop Maison Otaku occasionally, and I will today because of what we're talking about. But they have a new channel. They've been getting hit with copyright strikes because, YouTube and copyright policing doesn't really know what to do with fair use yet. So channels that are really, really interesting, great channels that happen to use little snippets of material to kind of illuminate what they're discussing, they get in trouble. And their channels are threatened to be shut down. So they've relocated to a new channel, new home for the meantime. So I'll put a link to that below. But let's talk about some LaserDiscs. I had teased this a little while back, mentioning that I had a big box coming from Japan. And I had to wait a while for this sucker. This was on the slow boat for about a month and a half. And I was hoping it was going to show up before I went to Texas. But it actually showed up the day I flew home. So It took a little bit. This is definitely the biggest package I got from Japan, though not in volume of different titles. So, there's quite a few discs here, but there's only, a handful of different titles per se. So, I'll have another anime box arriving soon-ish, and that one's got a couple other, singular entities, not just like entire series or whatever. So, anyways, without any further ado, let's see what I got in the anime box set from Kevin Kobo's Good Squid. Shout outs to Mike in particular from Maison Otaku. I know he's a fan of this series. Macross 2, Lovers Again. This was a 6-series OVA, and I was a huge Macross fan back in the day, and I had heard that this was coming out. And I bought a bootleg video cassette from it was like an anime shop in, what's the name of that plaza there's like a multi-store mall in Harvard, Cambridge, Massachusetts, where Newberry Comics is or was. And there was like a little anime store there, and they used to occasionally sell bootlegs of LaserDiscs. And I got a VHS copy of 1 and 2 of this for like $25 or something like that, maybe $20. But back in the day, getting these were cost prohibitive. Basically, if you wanted to get a single disc Japanese release, it was about $80 over here in the States. So 6 of those, not really going to happen. But if you're a smart businessman and you have a little bit of liquid cash at your beck and call, you could invest in these 6 titles and then just run bootleg copies of them and sell them at $20 a pop. And not saying it's right, it's just how it went down. And, of course, no English subtitles on these at all. You have to know Japanese or just know how to watch a show and kind of glean the subject matter from the visual cues. And, obviously, some of the fine points of dialogue are going to be missing. But that's how I grew up watching anime. Fan subs, like with hard-encoded subs and all that stuff, like those were really hard to come by when I started getting into it. And it was just, you got VHS dubs of straight Japanese dialogue. And like I said, years and years and years later, I finally picked up the Dirty Pair OVAs with proper translations. And it only added that much more that I didn't understand from just watching the straight Japanese. So, yeah, big fan of anything Macross. I know this series is kind of maligned, and yeah, it is not quite up there in my heart with Macross Plus, but still, it's cool. I kind of like Hibiki as a character. I like the idea of, instead of a hotshot fighter pilot, it's a journalist in this case. But he's a cool character, and I like the idea of the Zentradi and the Miltradi. They come back. We used to destroy them with the help of pop singers in the case of Lin Minmay, and now they've also kind of come back to enforce their troops and freak us out with their own creepy singers, which it would have been awesome if they had been able to get like Diamond de Galas to do the vocals for that. Instead, it sounds very much like the Monolith from 2001. So, pretty cool stuff. So that's one. And as I mentioned before, these are definitely not cost effective, because these are one-sided CAV discs. So you get one side with one episode that's just under 30 minutes, and this is volume 2. I like the cool. They got the kind of rice paper obi strips on these, so you can see through them a little bit. So yeah, I mean, they obviously could have fit this entire series, economically on a couple discs. But I also love the Hirohiko Mikimoto artwork on these suckers. There's volume 3. Volume 4. There is a box set as well that I'll probably end up picking up too, just for coolness sake, and the fact that these are insanely cheap. I got this whole set of these for next to nothing, pretty much. Yeah, gorgeous looking disc, volume 5. And the final release in the series, volume 6. So yeah, total fantasy wish fulfillment action here. I mean, I had the VHS tape, which was good. I remember listening to that one. That I think I had an old NEC VCR, and it was like one of the first anime releases I watched where the stereo soundtrack was recorded well onto VHS, and I just remember listening to it on my headphones and being like, wow, this is really, really cool. And I had the soundtrack album and everything like that. So as much as people kind of talk crap about Macross too, still a big part of not my childhood, but my young adulthood. So yeah, collecting anime on Laserdisc has a few drawbacks. One, as I mentioned before, it's only in Japanese dialogue only, with no English subtitles and no dub tracks at all, except for a few specific ones. I know there's copies of Akira out there and a few other titles that have an English dub on there as well. But the drawback is, if you're into the little bit newer stuff, then it never made it onto Laserdisc. So I always thought it would be sick to have Cowboy Bebop on Laserdisc, because if you ever collected the original DVD series, the graphics were designed like an old Blue Note jazz record, and they even had the little record emblem printed hard on the discs. And I thought, oh, that would be sick in 12 inches on Laserdisc. But Cowboy Bebop did come out on Laserdisc. Yeah, buddy. 9 discs. Gorgeous. Looks like a freaking jazz record. This rules. Love it. So, split up, obviously, a little bit more than the DVDs were. I think these have about 3 episodes each. Second session with Feifei. Ah, man. These are just way too cool. One of my friends on Laserdisc Forever says that there's a box set, or says that he knows a guy that says he has a box set, but there seems to be no indicators out there that a box set of these exist, or maybe it was like a custom box made to house all these, or some sort of mail-in offer. Volume 4, you got Jet. Again, so cool to have the kind of concept realized even further, spread across 12 inches. 5th session. Sixth session. Yeah, this box that I got all these in, I was pretty sure I was going to kill the mail woman when she was going to get it for me at the post office. 7th session. Aw, Ein and Edward. 8th session. And, what's it say? You're going to carry that weight. 9th session. And final. Except for the 0, session number 0, which is the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that you've seen. I know they threw that on some of the DVDs, the original DVD releases, and I'm sure they're on the Blu-rays and everything. It's only about 27 minutes, but it talks about the characters and the staff, and it's got a music clip of Tank. And again, the Yoko Kanno seatbelts score for this. You have to buy every single soundtrack release. That's just it's a law. But yeah, session number 0, I got that as well. So, Cowboy Bebop complete on LaserDisc, except for the film, which that I believe did not make its way onto LaserDisc. But the fact that those are number 1. So, those 16 discs themselves would have made a healthy Japanese import LaserDisc haul. But I did get one more thing for an insanely cheap amount of money. They released 2 memorial boxes. One, I forgot what anniversary it was, but it was either early 90s or late 80s when it came out. And then a later one in the later 90s, which I didn't even know this existed, because whenever I see anybody collecting the memorial boxes, it's always the earlier one with the cool foil stamped cover, which I do mean to get. And I had the opportunity to get that earlier one, but it had some water damage on the disc jackets and stuff, so I said, alright, I'll hold off. This one is an 11 disc set comprising all of the original Macros television show. Take the Obi strip off there. Yep. 11 disc set with an amazing shelf busting inner box here. There's the slip cover. This is all just black, but they're all housed there, and these are all individually bagged, which is very cool, and a very simple style. It's kind of very steely background there, and just the disc numbers in big writing with a different image on each one. So I'll go through them quick. Right. Disc 1. Disc 2. Disc 3. I mean, I guess it would have been cooler to have the huge graphics a little bit bigger. Disc 4. But I'm not complaining. Number 5, Ray Fokker playing some guitar. Number 6. Number 7. Numero 8. Number 9. Number 10. And the one I showed you before, number 11. But the set also came with some cool extras. Nothing too major. But in this little sleeve here, I've got, if I can retrieve them, it's like an info sheet and a bunch of coupons. But I believe this is the phone card that it came with. That was like a thing for a while. They give away things and you'd have a phone card. So it's a couple notches cut into this so you could just sit the phone card in there. And it came with a little paper Valkyrie fighter. These are the instructions that you could put together. And so it's got all these different sheets with the parts. With Ikaru's Valkyrie, so you can put that together. I don't think I'm going to, because looks like a lot of work, and it'll be cool to I just keep them as is. But and then it comes with this, pretty big book with, I like the it's not spot gloss, but there's like blacker than black sections on it, and yeah, just it's interesting too. It's printed Western style. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. But a lot of cool photos and interviews, assuming you know how to read Japanese. And the info about what's on the box, what's in the box. Crazy set. Totally love it. And yeah, if you can get it, I highly recommend it. I will definitely pick up the other Memorial box just because I'm a Macro super fan. And yeah, they do have some individual Laserdisc releases too that have some really nice artwork. So I don't know if I'm going to go crazy and get those, but it's a possibility. So that's one batch. I do have another smaller-ish batch of anime discs coming my way, and I'll share those with you as soon as I can tear that sucker open once it shows up in my mail bin. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Sorry for the long delay, but glad to be back here, and glad to be hanging out with you guys. So, or I should say y'all, since I just got back from Texas. But cheers, thanks for hanging out, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.